Hi everyone, in this lesson we're going to continue to learn useful expressions we can use to talk about people's personalities. We'll begin with the model dialogue, and in this dialogue we're going to listen to two people talking about their friends' personalities. We will explain all the expressions in detail afterwards. What's Dan like? Dan's quite friendly. What's Chris like? Chris is a talkative person. Okay, now the question to ask someone's personality is still the same. We use what's someone like structure. So let's take a look at the first sentence that describes Dan's personality. Dan's quite friendly. Dan's quite friendly. In the sentence, we're describing Dan's personality as being friendly. However, we use the adverb quite with the adjective friendly. In British English, we use quite to express a degree that's stronger than a little, but weaker than very. So we often use it to express a degree that's around average, though the range of average can be different to each person. In American English, however, quite is more often used to express a stronger degree. So in American English, it's more common to use the synonym pretty when expressing a degree that's around average. Let's take a look at a few other example sentences. Dan's quite easygoing. Dan's quite sociable. Dan's quite caring. Okay, so let's do a speaking practice of these sentences. Dan's quite friendly. Dan's quite easygoing. Dan's quite sociable. Dan's quite caring. That was great, well done. Now let's take a look at a sentence not in the dialogue to describe someone's personality. Dan's really nice. Dan's really nice. Really is a very useful adverb, and it can be used in many different ways in English. However, one way we can use really is to use it with adjectives to mean very. So this sentence has the same meaning as Dan's very nice. Use of really is very common in everyday speech. The adjective nice just means good. Here are a few more example sentences. Dan's really outgoing. Dan's really sociable. Dan's really quiet. Okay, so let's practice saying these sentences. Dan's really nice. Dan's really outgoing. Dan's really sociable. Dan's really quiet. Excellent job, well done. Let's now take a look at the final way of describing someone's personality. Chris is a talkative person. Chris is a talkative person. In this sentence, we describe Chris's personality by using an adjective in front of the noun person, and we use this structure to say what kind of person someone is. In this sentence, we've used the adjective talkative, which we use to describe someone who talks a lot. Let's take a look at a few other example sentences. Chris is a quiet person. Chris is a sociable person. Chris is a bossy person. Okay, so let's do a speaking practice of these sentences. Chris is a talkative person. Chris is a quiet person. Chris is a sociable person. Chris is a bossy person. Fantastic job today, well done. Now, before we do the final practice, let's listen to the whole dialogue again. What's Dan like? Dan's quite friendly. What's Chris like? Chris is a talkative person. Okay, so let's do a speaking practice of this dialogue. We will do 2 speaking practices so that you can practice both roles. All the lines will be on the screen, so when it's your turn, please read a line and participate in the dialogue. What's Dan like? Chris is a talkative person. Dan's quite friendly. What's Chris like? Excellent job today. Well done. Okay, so in this lesson, we learned more ways to describe personalities in English. As always, the next lesson is a speaking drill lesson, so do make sure to take that lesson for more speaking practice. See you soon again. Bye bye.